Let's start it with some more finding out. He's slacked with a intimacy crime, which comes with mandatory jail time. So let's fucking go.
So a few days ago, I made a video talking about how Johnny Somali got arrested, and he's probably going to get some more charges from this arrest. He's been on a tear lately. Like he has. Trying to go to jail or trying to force them to deport him, which they're not going to do. So,
Farty banned his ass from the platform. Oh, wait, but that was that 24-hour ban, wasn't it? Wait, was that the 24-hour ban? That was only the 24-hour ban, wasn't it? Am I remembering this correctly? Like, they banned him from the platform just for 24 hours and he's back? Or is this another permaban? That's because I'm wondering if the latest stunt of his caused a perma. Yes, okay. So this was the 24-hour party ban that we heard about. That he came back and was drunk as hell, and that's when he calls all. I think the 24-hour ban ended, and that's when he did the one video that we watched about him on Atozi's channel. That was after that party ban, I think.
His strategy is a strange one. Lay low until the trial starts and then act like a fool. It's a bold strategy. We'll see how that pays off.
But he's not laying low.
One of the things that he's already done in the past has now been officially revealed.
Uh-oh.
And this time, there is no fine because what he's charged with now, which is the deepfake thing, where he had some other streamer and he showed a video. He was streaming, and that's important for this because he streamed it when he did that deepfake video of him French kissing some girl who I think is also a streamer. I forget her details, but either way, he took some girl's image, made a deepfake of them kissing, and showed that on a stream, and that's what screwed him.
Yeah, because South Korea takes deepfakes extremely seriously. Like, deepfakes in South Korea are felonies. Those are it is a, I think Legal Mindset talked about this some time ago when this first came up about the possibility of him being charged for doing this deepfake. Legal Mindset was talking about this. It is a serious felony. South Korea does not fuck around when it comes to deepfakes. So...
Oh, I don't think I'm a lot dumber than you thought that I thought I was once.
So, whatever that falls under, and I'm going to show you a clip from Legal Mindset stream, that carries mandatory prison time. So, his little running around saying he's not, his little spiel where he runs around and says he's not going to jail, well, that's no longer.
I love this. Fifth charge officially merged in the case of Ramzi Khalid Ismail in South Korea. This charge carries mandatory prison time with no option of fine. He is officially headed behind bars unless he can somehow win against a prosecutor with a 98% win rate. And I will say the 98% win rate is not because they do plea deals. South Korea doesn't fuck with plea agreements. Their 98% win rate is at trial. These are trials, no pleading anything down. They just fucking win because the South Korean prosecutors, Revan, it's 98% win rate probably because the prosecution very likely will not bring a case in front of a judge unless they are absolutely confident that they can win it. They've got all the evidence, they've got all witness testimony, the case is locked down, and that's when they bring it before a judge. That's likely why they have a 98% win rate. Because don't forget, South Korea is much smaller than the United States. So they don't have the massive backlog of they don't have the massive backlog of cases that the United States court system does. South Korean court system can take their time and actually, handle charges like these properly and make sure all their ducks in a row. And if a prosecutor in South Korea, if he or she does not have all the appropriate evidence they need to make it stick, they won't bring the case to trial. So that's why it's a 98% win rate, because they only show up in front of a judge with the case if they know they can win.
A scenario. This charge has mandatory prison time. So this is what Legal Mindset said on Twitter. Fifth charge officially merged into case of Ramzi Khalid Ismail, Johnny Somali, in South Korea. This charge carries mandatory prison time with no option of fine. Ramzi is officially headed behind bars unless he can somehow win against a prosecutor with a 98% win rate. Uh-oh. He has
SpaghettiOs.
A couple other charges. 2 counts of obstruction of business.
Right.
2 violations of
those
the
we know about.
Crimes Act. He pleaded guilty
Yeah, sure.
to 1 count of obstruction, 2 counts of the Minor Crimes Act. That was the dead fish thing and disrupting the subway.
I forgot the 4th one was.
So, he's in a lot of shit.
Yes,
Those
he is.
other charges, yeah, you could sit here and say, well, I don't know. But this one's a little bit serious. So it looks like, as Legal Mindset says in his stream,
that's still, Yellowflash, why do you gotta do Legal Mindset dirty like that? He looks like he's fucking high. Oh, Flash, don't do legal dirty like that, gamer. Come on. He couldn't have paused on a better frame.
Going to jail. Unless he cuts some kind of crazy deal. And the way that country is looking at him right now, I don't know if that happens. Because there are people over there demanding he get jail time. He has that whole country pissed. He just got bitch smacked the other day. I'm not going to show it, but somebody pimp smacked him on stream. Like, he's still out there being a fool.
Oh, he's been gotten a lot more than pimp slap. He's gotten his. There was that one guy. We saw it. We saw the clip of it. There was that one guy that just came out and did a.
This is Sparta.
So Johnny's got his ass kicked over there a couple times.
I don't think even Phoenix Wright could break the case against Johnny. Not that he'd want the case anyway.
Very true. That's what I was going to say, Leo.
Cool. I'm here for it, man. Keep doing it. Keep doing it, Johnny. Because you are going to go to jail. And I guess he's writing to the embassy, begging the embassy to help him. And I don't know if they're going to be there for you there, bud. But let's take a look here and listen to what Legal Mindset has to say. He's been doing an excellent job covering this, getting thousands of people watching his streams, which is pretty cool. This is the guy that I go
to. Oh, Kevin, you got asked. Okay, I'll wait. Yeah, we're waiting for him to go into Legal Mindset about it. No, and I don't remember if Johnny actually tried to get help from the embassy. The only thing the embassy did for him was they gave him that temporary purple passport because South Korea took his passport away, and so he was able to get a temporary passport from the embassy, but he still can't leave the country. He is on travel lockdown, and they're not letting him out. So and there's nothing the embassy could do to help him. Legally speaking, the embassy cannot help him in any way. He is not being illegally persecuted, so he cannot. Yeah, exactly. They told him basically, "Fuck off, Pilgrim." Like they're because there's nothing that they can do. He made his own bed, and now he's got to shit himself in it, and he's going to. Destar, don't you fucking dare! Do not dare try to pay for a lawyer for Johnny. Okay, you're back.
And it's getting thousands of people watching his streams, which is pretty cool. This is the
Thank
guy
you,
that I go to
Josh.
for details on this stuff because he has lived in South Korea, so he knows it pretty well there. So I trust what he has to say here. Let's listen.
A sex crime. So it will longer after Ramsey is
that new charge.
Yep.
Is a sex crime.
Guilty of this, whether he is proved guilty by the court or whether he pleads guilty, you can safely say, without it being defamatory at all in any country, that he is a sex criminal because this falls under the variant of their laws that regulate.
And keep in mind, like you said, the prosecutor he's going up against, 98% win rate.
And I think all the prosecutors in South Korea have that rate.
So, and
or similar.
I want to be very clear. This deep fake is sexual because in Korean culture, like French kissing, and this is actually some notes I have on this, typed on. Some of them are French kissing or making out, as you might say, as the kids might say. So French kissing is considered sexual in Korean law. People who French kiss are likely having sex as well, right? Regardless of the content, distributing AI content without.
Now, some people might agree with that or not agree with that and say, whoa, he's in trouble for showing something like that.
Well, okay. No, I fully get where the law is coming at this by charging him with a sex crime for this. Because, okay, South Korea considers French kissing to be tantamount to having sex. You can argue that all you wish. It's South Korea. Many Asian, I'm pretty sure many East Asian countries, South Korea, Japan, I'm not sure about Taiwan, but at least South Korea and Japan, they basically handle sex in a very modest way, which I appreciate sounds weird considering, that hentai comes from that region, and hentai is one of the most popular forms of porn in the world. But basically, it's Ace, thank you. That's where I was going with it. Yes, it's publicly showing this. So they are in a public setting. They are very, very modest. Behind closed doors is behind closed doors. Publicly is a whole different story. And what Johnny did is effectively in Korea, and I think Legal Mindset may allude to this. What Johnny did, because French kissing is considered essentially a sex act in South Korea, because he deep faked another person's face onto the girl that he was making out with, it is essentially a case of revenge porn. I think that's the angle that they're going with this. They are treating what Johnny did like he did a public posting of revenge porn. And that's why it's AIDS. But that's why I need Jack. Because it was in a public stream, publicly broadcast, and it was someone else, he deepfaked this other girl's face who did not consent, and he made out with that girl with the other girl's face deepfaked onto it. He basically committed essentially public broadcast of revenge porn of this other girl. And that's why they're treating it like a sex crime. That is my suspicion, is why they're going this angle with the charge on this one.
Listen, this is why when you go to other countries, you stay on your best behavior and you don't do shit like this. Then you don't have to worry about it. Because it doesn't matter how you feel about it. This is their law. This is how South Korea does it. This is why if I went to South Korea, I would not do any of this nonsense.
Wise idea.
For one, I don't want to go to jail.
And leave us not forget, a lot of countries are a lot of countries are starting to, what's the word I'm looking for here? A lot of countries are starting to adopt something of a nationalist mindset, where when it comes to tourists, they don't give a fuck where these tourists come from. If these tourists fuck around in their country, they will slap the shit out of them. Because in these countries, such as Japan, such as South Korea, the tourists that come in fuck around going, we're from the United States, we can do whatever the fuck we want. And they tolerated it for many years because the U.S., they kind of tolerated, not 100% tolerate it, but they kind of tolerated it because the U.S. is their ally. But in recent years, the way things have been going, they are starting to collapse in on themselves in terms of nationalism, and they're saying, we don't give a fuck if you're from an allied nation. This is our fucking country. You're not going to treat it like shit. We are going to bitch slap the living fuck out of you if you fuck around in our country. And we don't care where you come from, and we don't care what kind of passport you're carrying. So that is an additional factor of why. Yeah, exactly, Papa. Exactly. They're basically acting normally, and they're not deferring to their Western tourists anymore. They're like, we're done being nice. It's over. We're done being nice.
I don't want to end up like Johnny Somali. So he's so stupid.
Yes, he is.
I hope he gets at least a year. I think a year in South Korean prison.
Fucking 10.
Will
give him fucking
change
10.
his perspective on life.
Consent is illegal, but under Korean law, if you're French kid.
And by the way, this carries up to like 14 years or something. He's not going to get 14 years.
No, I don't think he'll get 14 years. Well, no, actually, I shouldn't say that. At present, I don't think he's going to catch 14 years for this. Now, if even more charges and even more cases start stacking, which is entirely a possibility that we could be seeing even more charges start stacking, then he might get that time. We shall see. But he definitely needs to, I would say more than one. I'd say give him at least 5 years in prison. I'd say throw him in prison for 5 years. Yeah, 1 year might teach him a lesson. He deserves at least 5.
He could end up getting a year, maybe 6 months.
So I said at
just
least
to teach
5.
him a lesson. But I'm hoping for the year.
Kissing, that's sexual. Streaming it for profit carries a prison sentence. Johnny can bitch about this all he wants, but it is absolutely lock. There's no changing that. So let's look at the Korean law, and this is a translation of the Korean law. This is from Case Note. So we're going to look at the one that's applicable to Johnny here. So this is the exact act, the special act on the punishment of sexual crimes.
Okay.
Right? This was a 2020 law. So obviously this happened after 2020. So distribution of false images. So that's deep fakes. So we're talking about deep fakes here.
So that's the big thing. He had a video of that girl.
All right. Yellowflash may not go through this, so I will. Any person who edits, synthesizes, or processes hereinafter referred to as editing a photograph, video, or audio recording of a person's face, body, or voice against the will of the subject of the video, i.e. they have to provide consent, in a form that may cause sexual desire or shame for the purpose of distribution, streaming, shall be punished by imprisonment for not more than 5 years or a fine not exceeding 50 million won. A person who distributes, etc., edited work, composite work, process work, or copy, pursuant to paragraph 1, or a person who distributes, etc., and edited work, etc., or a copy against the will of the subject of the video work, etc., even if the edited work, etc., pursuant to paragraph 1 was not against the will of the subject, shall be punished by imprisonment for not more than 5 years or a fine not exceeding 50,000 won, or 50 million won, excuse me. Person commits crime, paragraph 2, by using an information or communications network against the will of the subject, shall be punished by imprisonment for not more than 7 years. This is it right here, I think. A person who commits the crime in paragraph 2 by using an information or communications network against the will of the subject of a video for profit shall be punished by imprisonment for more than 7 years. This is it right here. Because he did this using this. Exactly. That's why I said this is where the streaming comes into play. And then number 4, in the case of a habitually committing crime, under paragraphs 1 through 3, the penalty prescribed shall be increased by up to half. Now, I will say, paragraph 4 here, he's only received 1 charge regarding this. Paragraph 3, Desert. This refers to if he has been convicted of this crime before and does it again. That's the key thing there. Now, does he have additional charges pending that also include this, so he'll have one conviction, and then he's got more of these types of charges waiting in the wings, and then it would constitute habitual, and then it's fucking game over. And then it's fucking right game over.
No trial, no nothing. Right to jail, right away.
So, yeah. He's fucked either way. He's either going to be catching 7 years, or he's going to be catching 10 years. One or the other. That's the one thing that we know. He's catching either 7 or 10 years for this, depending on how these cases are stacking up.
Girl, and he was French kissing her in the video. Now, what he's going to get to is down here at number 3. A person who commits this crime in paragraph 2 by using an information and communications network against the will of the subject of a video for profit shall be punished by imprisonment for not more than 7.
No. Yeah, Steve, it says not more than 7 years, which means he can get up to 7 years. But if he has a habitual, if he has a second sex crime charge, that makes him habitual, which can add half of this time to his punishment, which would be 10 years total. And yeah, it's not more than 7 years, but considering what Johnny's been doing, you don't think that they're not going to hit him with some max sentences? Considering what he's been doing?
7 years. Because he was streaming, and that's what he's going to get to. Number 2, he was distributing that work on a stream.
Correct, Steve, correct.
He was doing it for money. The point of doing the IRL streams is for money. So, because of that, he has now a mandatory punishment for not more than 7 years. There's
correct,
no
Seb, yes. Yeah, and that's a key point of note. 7 years is just for this singular crime that we're discussing. He's already got 3 charges that he's already pled guilty to. He's already pled guilty to those 3 charges. We do not have sentencing on them yet. He has, in addition to the sex crime case, he has another case in another district that is waiting in the wings, plus even more charges are being constructed upon Johnny as we speak. They're compiling even more charges that have not yet made it to court. He's taking it in all the holes. He's getting it in every hole, chap. And it's fucking glorious to see.
There is no community service, no probation. You go to jail.
Yep.
With no get out of jail card.
Yep.
You can't pass go. Straight to jail. Straight to jail for you. So that's a wrap. He's in doo-doo. Big doo-doo. And, you know.
Big voodoo.
It is what it is. You can turn your pockets out.
He's in Banta voodoo.
Big Korean man. Become his prison lady. And gets protection for that year. It's an option. That's an option. But there will be no more IRL streaming for Johnny. I think he goes to jail.
And I have a feel. Call me crazy. I have a feeling that once he goes to jail, when he gets out of jail, even Party is probably not going to want him back on their platform. Party is milking Johnny for every drop of, chaos streaming that they can before he goes to prison. When he gets out of prison, I don't think even Party's going to let him out. Well, Atsunashi, that's the thing. Who's going to let him on their platform? When he gets out, who is actually going to let him onto their platform? Not sure that I don't think there's going to be anybody left. Party was the last streaming site that was willing to host him. And I suspect that once he goes to prison, I don't think even Party's going to want to host him. Why are they, why would they want to? He's not going to be a draw.
So, give it up the legal mindset. He had the theory here. They were going to get him to plead guilty to those previous crimes, which he did. And now, when he goes to trial for this, he's already a convicted criminal.
Broccoli, I'm wondering if they would even allow him on.
Congratulations, Johnny. You played yourself.
It's true, Atanashi. It's true.
Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. It looks like he is for sure 100% going to jail. Unless the embassy
certainly looks that way.
And I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think the embassy can.
So, let me know your thoughts. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
I don't think the embassy can save him. Realistically, I do not think the embassy can save him. I don't think there's anything they can legally do to save him. The only thing that would be able to save him is if the U.S. did some kind of freaking black op and they extract him out of South Korea with some kind of freaking black op, which they're not going to do. I'm absolutely thinking in extremes on this one. But that's kind of the only way that Johnny's going to get out of this. So, he's done. He's going to be catching mandatory prison time. Didn't mention that a retired judge said that, to his opinion, the justice system... Oh, Heibel, I do not doubt it. Because countries like South Korea and Japan, Johnny is the reason why they have had to institute new procedures for police for live streamers. They have actually had to introduce new policies and new training for policing on how to deal with chaotic live streamers. And hell yes, they're going to be making an example on them. 100% they will. Because in addition to that, they're going to say, if you want to do this chaos live streaming, This is what you can expect to happen. We're not fucking around with this. Not a surprise.